Today, we're going to break down the power you hold as a consumer here in Australia. We'll do it by looking at two huge, real-life legal battles that show you exactly what your rights are and how they're protected.
You know the feeling, right? We've all been there. You see a promise on a package, you take it at its word, and you buy it, only to find out later that, well, the reality is a little different. That exact feeling is where our first story kicks off.
All right, so let's dive into our first case. It takes us to a place we all know, the bakery aisle in a major supermarket, Coles. And what started with a simple claim about bread, well, it blew up into a massive legal fight. So here's the heart of the issue. On one hand, you had the promise, with big signs everywhere saying freshly baked today. But on the other hand, you had the reality. The bread was actually par-baked, which means it was partly cooked in a factory somewhere, then frozen, shipped out, and just finished off in the oven at the store. Now, this wasn't just some small mix-up. The Australian Competition and Consumer Commission, you'll know them as the ACC, they're basically the country's consumer watchdog, they took Coles to court over this. And you know what? The federal court totally agreed with them, finding that Coles had, in fact, been misleading its customers.
But see, this case was about so much more than just a loaf of bread. It all came down to a really powerful rule that's designed to protect every single one of us from this kind of deceptive advertising. So what exactly is that rule?
And that brings us right to the core of it all. Section 29 of the Australian Consumer Law. The law here is crystal clear. A business just cannot make false or misleading claims about what it's selling you. Period. It's a fundamental protection we all have.
And this law casts a really wide net. It's not just about whether something is fresh. It covers any misleading stuff a company might say about a product's quality, its history, like where it came from or when it was made, and even its specific features. It's some serious protection.
That's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, being misled about a product is one thing. But what happens if a company tries to trick you about the legal rights you already have? Well, that brings us to our second big case.
So for our second case, we're shifting gears and talking about Apple. Yeah, one of the biggest, most well-known tech companies on the entire planet.
The ACC stepped in again, and this time they found that Apple was telling customers with faulty iPhones and iPads that they couldn't get a free repair if their device had been fixed by someone else before, like a third-party repair shop. Turns out, that was just plain wrong.
And here's the key distinction. It's subtle, but so important. The Coles case was about a misleading claim on a product label. But the Apple case? This was about a company misleading people about their fundamental consumer rights. Rights that you have no matter what a company's policy says.
In this case, just blows the doors wide open to one of the most powerful tools in your arsenal as a consumer, the automatic guarantees that come with pretty much everything you buy.
You have to get this bit because it's so important. These guarantees are not some optional extra. A store warranty, that's a commercial promise from the business. These legal guarantees, they are your automatic rights baked right into the law, and they apply whether the store even mentions them or not.
So what are these guarantees? Well, first, that products are of acceptable quality. That means they're safe, they're durable, they don't have defects. Second, they have to be fit for purpose. So a waterproof watch better be waterproof. They also have to match the description you were given. And finally, repairs and spare parts have to be reasonably available. Okay, so we've talked about misleading bread claims and dodgy info about phone repairs. Let's pull this all together and figure out what the big takeaway is for you.
At the end of the day, it all boils down to this one really powerful idea. The law has your back in two major ways. It makes sure that what a company says about its product is true, and it makes sure that what a company tells you about your rights is also true. So what can you actually do with all this? Okay, 3 simple things to remember. 1. Check the claims. Be a little skeptical of advertising. 2. Know your guarantees. Remember, you have automatic rights that go beyond any piece of paper they give you. And 3, this might be the most important one. Question the no. If a business tells you you're not entitled to a fix or a refund, remember the Apple case and know that they might just be wrong. So I'll leave you with a little challenge. Armed with all this info, what's one label, one ad, one promise that you're going to look at with fresh eyes the next time you're out shopping? Think about it. Thanks so much for tuning in.